Good afternoon. My name is David Nail, and I'm with the USGS. You may be familiar with the long history of the USGS in providing elevation data first through contours on our topographic maps and later as digital data in the National Elevation Data Set, or NED. The 3D elevation program is our current effort to provide updated high-resolution elevation data for the nation. The 3D elevation program, or 3DEP, is managed by the USGS and includes the contracting mechanism both through the Geospatial Products and Services Contract, or GPSC, and the Broad Agency Announcement Solicitation, known as the BAA. These are the mechanisms that Wisconsin has used to acquire LiDAR data for the state. The goal of 3DEP is to complete acquisition of nationwide LiDAR, IFSAR in Alaska, in 8 years, to provide the first ever national baseline of consistent high-resolution elevation data for both bare Earth and 3D point clouds collected in a time frame of less than a decade. 3DEP was designed to provide a 5-to-1 return on investment and a conservative monetary benefit of more than $690 million annually implemented in 8 years. 3DEP leverages the expertise and capacity of private sector mapping firms that acquire the data for the program through the USGS GPSC and through a partner's RFP acquisition as cooperative agreements. 3DEP will help all of its partners realize an estimated 25% cost efficiency gain by acquiring data in larger project areas. The 3DEP BAA is the vehicle for soliciting partnerships with mostly non-federal partners. It's a fair and equitable process that allows federal, state, local, tribal, and even private organizations to propose data acquisition projects. The status graphic that's shown on this slide reflects the current status of 3DEP data throughout the country and shows the U.S. is approximately 70% covered with LiDAR. The dark green areas represent the available or in-progress data that meet the 3DEP specification, and the bright green areas represent fiscal year 20 LiDAR partnerships that have been awarded for contract and include the BAA awards. The dark blue represents where the program has acquired IFSAR data in Alaska, which is now 100% complete. On average, BAA awards cover 30% of the total cost of the project, with a range of funding from 2 to 50%. In fiscal year 2026, out of 33 proposals were awarded in 17 states. In fiscal year 20, 3DEP project funding ranged from $15,000 to $2.5 million, with an average award of $650,000. Project sizes range from 380 square miles to 18,000 square miles. And there's a general alignment between project size and project award. And so to achieve the goal of national coverage, the program recognizes that flexibility may be required to collaborate with partners with limited resources. And we encourage applicants with any amount of funding to put forth a submission for consideration. There are, however, some federal guidelines that influence award amounts, and these guidelines are covered in the BAA solicitation in Section 4. 3DEP posts an annual list of the agencies and organizations who have received awards on our website, and applicants include a short project synopsis as part of their application process, and if selected for the award, that synopsis gets extracted and is shared on our website. In addition to the project synopsis, we include information on the project size, the quality level of the data, the contracting mechanism used, and a graphic showing the geographic location and extent of the 3DEP BAA awards. What constitutes 3DEP quality data? The deliverables for any given project must conform to the most current published product specification for LiDAR and derived products using the USGS Lidar Base Specification, or LBS. and that can be found on the 3DEP website shown on this slide. The LBS naming convention includes the year and identifies the revision update using letters A through Z, and thus the current version is named Lidar Base Specification 2020 Revision A. If another revision update occurs this year, the naming convention will be LBS 2020 Revision B. Anyone can subscribe to 3DEP Lidar Base Spec News so you can stay informed of changes and updates to the LBS. In addition to the requirements outlined in the USGS LBS, Lidar data and derived products must meet or exceed the current definition of quality level 2 as follows. Classified Lidar point cloud data with a minimum point density greater than or equal to 2 points per square meter, a nominal Lidar pulse spacing of less than or equal to 0.7 meter, and a relative vertical accuracy of 10 centimeter root mean squared error. When submitting a BAA proposal, the project location, it is an important aspect. The program's first consideration is to acquire data in geographic areas where no LiDAR data exists. However, the program will consider new acquisitions if the existing LiDAR data is older than 8 years or it has coarser resolutions that fall within the categories of QL 3, 4, or 5, or if the proposed acquisition areas have had significant changes to the landscape. The program also looks at aerial extent. The program prefers projects greater than 1,500 square miles, and scores for this criteria increase as the project size increases. The number of awards in any given fiscal year is based on the amount of funding, and the government will review proposals based on the project's alignment with the evaluation requirements identified within the BAA solicitation. Awards will first be offered to those proposals receiving the highest score, and the government will continue to offer awards to other candidates whose proposals receive favorable scores based on the amount of funding. The program will consider projects outside of this range to fill in gaps in coverage or for projects that bring considerable funding to the table. The fiscal year 21 BAA announcement has been released and proposals are due by November 13th of this year. 3DEP is a call for community action because it's an effort to address more than 600 mission critical needs reported by 34 federal agencies, 50 states, and a sampling of other organizations that were documented in the National Enhanced Elevation Assessment that occurred in 2012. Many of you may be participating in the current 3D Nation Requirements and Benefits Study, which is designed to determine elevation needs from our highest mountains to our deepest oceans. The USGS National Geospatial Program will use this information to assure our programs continue to satisfy the needs of our nation for high quality, enhanced elevation data, and we will continue to look forward to the challenges of completing nationwide coverage and meeting the growing needs for higher quality data, repeat coverage, and new products and services. Here is a list of online resources regarding 3DEP and the BAA process. And thank you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email.